In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Good day.
What's up? Long time no see, man.
I know, exactly. Exactly. We don't record these ever back to back. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, never.
No, never. But yes, back in the Zoom game. We're zooming and zigging and zagging.
Oh yeah.
And we're also, you know what we're doing today as well?
Remaining pointless, as in our namesake, another pointless
We are
automotive.
doing that. We're going to do a truly pointless exercise
Woohoo!
today. I don't know what we're calling it. Should we call it polishing turds?
Oh,
They say you can't polish a turd, but I think we're going to we might try and buck that
one
trend.
control.
Because I had this fever dream of an idea.
Oh,
Of there are some cars that are like truly uncool and just kind of like disastrously, almost incurably cool, like incurably uncool. But I
right.
feel like there's probably some that are out there that like you can at least make an attempt, right? To make any interesting, not even interesting, any just car out there that's like fatally uncool
People have
or
tried.
terrible.
Yeah.
There's probably a genuine way to be. Oh, you know what? That's actually kind of cool. And so I think we're just gonna go back and forth
I like it.
and discuss. You know, maybe you'll just spit out, whatever. 84 Grand Caravan, and then I have to like try and figure out how I would modify said vehicle to make it at least my attempt on what I would consider would be cool. And then we can just go back and forth. That was my thought on the subject. What are your thoughts on the subject?
I like it. Let's do that. You're not getting anything as easy as a caravan, so.
Oh yeah.
Heads up.
First gen Caravan turbo 5-speed with wood paneling. Come on now, that's cool. That's cool.
Already cool. Already cool.
It's already there. Do you want to do it?
Oh,
Do you want to just go read off a make and model first?
yeah,
And then leave it to me? Or?
I'll serve this turd up to you, man.
Okay, yeah. Service.
Let's start off with one of our favorite defunct car companies, Pontiac. And
Oh, okay.
I offer you, Frank, the Pontiac G3, which we all know
Oh,
is essentially a Daewoo Eveo.
right.
So how do you make the Pontiac G3 cool, my man?
Boy, the G3.
No pressure.
I thought you were gonna go maybe Pontiac Transport.
Already cool.
Transport.
Already
And I thought that was like, okay, that's actually pretty easy. This car, man, you can get that with a manual, correct?
Could you?
I don't know, because I think on the Chevy, on a Aveo you could. You
Right.
can get a manual in a Aveo, and I've driven them, and they're terrible.
Horrible
Like a
car.
truly terrible car.
Yeah.
And so this is, the same ethos, same bones. So maybe you can get one with a manual. If you can get one with a manual, I feel like I would have to try and make it just not time attack, because that's way too insane.
Yeah.
But I would want to put like, I'm picturing it red because it's Pontiac, right? So bright
course.
red. I would do the gold wheels with the polished lip, and maybe 17s with
God.
very aggressive tires.
Do you
I would
paint-
lower it a little bit.
Do you paint the rear drums? You got it, right?
I'm thinking gold mesh wheels, so I'm thinking you don't even really see them.
Okay, sneaky.
So if anything, I'm painting them black, so you don't get they're hidden. I'm
Black.
covering that up. I'm sweeping those under the rug.
Yeah.
And then I would and I would just try and make it like a truly awful like momentum car. If it's an automatic, it's so much more difficult to play with, because it's like there's almost no redeeming qualities to that other than people going, yo, dude, is that a Pontiac G3, the very last Pontiac ever made?
Exactly. Right.
And if that's the case, if I'm saddled with an automatic, I would just try and keep it incredibly clean and incredibly stock. I would just be like, it would be the only super clean, like literally paint corrected Pontiac G3 on the glow, like super nice. Maybe like PPF the whole thing. Just make it just like a museum piece to just how terrible the end of Pontiac was.
Yeah, talking about excitement branch of GM going out with like a choked out whimper, right? Like our
Yeah.
last car is the G3.
Yeah, like
Oh.
an autoerotic asphyxiation type level of whimpering
Except you don't
death to a
climax.
brand.
You
It's
don't climax. You just die.
automotive erotic asphyxiation. That's what it is, and that's
You die
full
flaccid. Flaccid.
exactly, yeah,
No climax.
exactly, yeah.
That took a
I mean,
turn.
who knows? I mean, I don't. I guess it depends on where in the process you die. You know,
I don't think you can die until you do finish. I think that's the
is that
point.
how it works?
Yeah.
It's actually the soul like firing out of the body.
That part of the body.
Exactly. Rope after rope of hot soul. On that note,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on my approach to the G3?
I intentionally picked hard ones because I didn't want to answer them.
Okay, no, that's fair.
I'll go with you. I'll go with your approach. That's about what you can do, even with that gear. You made it sound like the 5-speed manual was built by Honda or something. That gear, I'm sure that thing's rubbery, vague, afterthought. If you can get the manual, I can't remember with those because they were later in the build. I know the early available could. Boy, if you're stuck with like a shitty, it's probably a 4-speed automatic.
Probably a 4-speed, yeah. Yeah, no bueno.
I think you did well. I think you did pretty good there.
Can I give you this one? And this was kind of what popped into my head, and I think it's going to be slightly easier.
Oh, okay.
And then I figured maybe we'll come the SC430, my dude. Lexus SC430. It's kind of uncool, but like on paper, you're like, wait, Lexus, high build quality, convertible hardtop, bulletproof V8, rear-wheel drive, like. But then it's like they're kind of sort of. I mean, I think they're kind of cool, but I think in the world of cars, like the car people, they're kind of tragically uncool.
I mean, Jeremy Clarkson went on record as saying it's the worst car ever made. I mean, Top Gear. That was I mean, I called that
which
out. Which
helped kill that car. I mean, that buried the SC moniker.
Correct. Yeah.
It died with it.
The price point kind of killed it too, and the fact that it had a back seat that touched the back of the driver's seat.
Truly,
so it wasn't a true back seat. Why did they put a back seat in that car? No one knows. SC430. So first off, I think it's a cool car.
You keeping the pie plate wheels?
I love the pie plates, but I'm afraid to make it cool. We need to get rid of them because they're not everybody's cup of tea. I think they look good on like the beige models. It looks kind of cool with the chrome because there's some other chrome on the car. But I think if we're gonna go cool, and you could get it in a color, you could get a red, which was pretty
they had like didn't they have like a dark like burgundy, like not burgundy, but like a dark burnt orangey kind of brown color. There's like maybe on the Pebble Beach one, the Pebble Beach editions or something.
Yeah, they had I think they had a Neiman Marcus one too. There's a whole bunch of different variants for some reason. But you could get that red. You could get a pretty bright red actually. And then I do either bronze wheels, which is kind of like in vogue. I love the way bronze wheels look with red, just like you did with your G3. Wheels, dude, that car, like I know I mentioned it. We're not able to tweak transmissions for this kind of game show. But that thing, if it had paddle shifters, God, that power plant's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong.
How about we play the game like this? Out of all of these, you get, instead of just completely ruling out engine swaps and transmission swaps, they're like the wild card. You get one of each that you get to play at some point during the game here.
Well, I wouldn't even,
because otherwise you just like LS swap every answer and then
manual swap automatic only cars. But I don't want to manual swap it because like Lexus never made like a manual for something with a V8, so that's like kind of impossible land.
Sure.
But just having a selectable automatic gearbox in that car, because it did straddle the line between like a luxury Grand Tourer and sports car. And the biggest gripe I had is I couldn't keep it in the power band up in the canyons because that V8.
So those are 5-speed autos, correct? It's like the same as the end run SC400s.
I'm 100% sure. Yeah, it's a 5-speed auto, but no selectability. There's no like. I think there might have been a power shift button, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But you couldn't hold it. You couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't hold gears. Which in the canyons it sucked because that power plant's pretty beefy. Good torque. It had good performance. I mean, straight line pulls all day. But when you're needing a downshift and upshift and stay at certain RPM ranges, just didn't work. So I'd put a selectable automatic would have changed the personality of that car. And then of course with that's my big change, I guess. But the little things would be like a different set of more aggressive wheels.
Helps has the tail lights.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, right?
I'm kidding. But
well, they could. I mean, Toyota did some pretty good tail lights. Yeah, they were legit Altezas when they were on the IS 300, right?
Yep.
So do like a selectable gearbox, some good tires, good suspension. It was a little wallowy for what it was.
Sure.
But man, great interior on that car too. But yeah, you gotta do something with that gearbox and then make it a little cooler looking.
Yeah. That's the tough part. Is like
I do think it looks
in some
cool
respects they're like, oh, that's kind of handsome. In other respects, you're like, what was the thought process on like the headlights and the grill and the tail? Like there's so many elements to that car. It's just like an odd looking car.
Too blobby with the lights.
It's super blobby.
Yeah, but man, with the hard top up, it looks good.
Sure.
Great top too. That folding top is like a party trick at a stoplight, right? I think I timed it at like 22 seconds though, so you better time it right.
Right, for sure. There we go. Okay, what
one, man.
What more difficult one do you have here for me? What am I going to try and mentally modify here?
I gotta go.
What you got?
Honda Cross Tour.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I don't 100% understand the Honda Cross Tour hate. Now, hear me out. I don't think it's a particularly good-looking vehicle.
It's okay,
but like I feel like everyone shat on that car and still does so aggressively when like the Outback exists and nobody shits on the Outback and it's just a Honda Outback. Now it's a little if they squared the back end off, would that change everyone's opinion? 100%. Like if it was just like, oh, it's actually like more of a wagon, like, and they just like,
why not make it a damn wagon? Just make it a damn wagon.
No, I get it. I don't know. Anyway,
it's not cool, but it is not cool. A lot of people would put
it is not cool.
On the cool wall, it goes to way not cool. What are you doing to fix a Cross Tour, Frank?
I think
I want to hear this one.
I can't decide if I want to slam this thing or if I want to add 3 inches of lift to it and make it like in a rooftop tent and go Cross Tour Wilderness Edition. You know what I mean?
They were only front wheel drive, right?
Really? I thought they were.
I don't think they were.
I suppose I don't know.
I don't think they were. I think they were front wheel drive, man.
Are they? Okay. Well, I've never paid enough attention to them to figure out if they were,
because they're uncool.
You know, they poached some all-wheel drive components out of the, whatever, the Ridgeline. I don't know. Okay, so let's work with that then. Let's just assume we're all picking cars that was it available with a manual? Like, I don't know. Like, is it front wheel drive? Then I'm gonna go slam. I'm gonna slam this bad mamma jamma. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go low and slow, and we're gonna maybe not Hella Flush Nation, maybe not Bozuzoku, because I can't imagine that's probably a USDM only product. So yeah, I want to go low and I want to go slow, with my Cross Tour. Are you trying to figure out if it's all-wheel drive right now?
It's either front or there was an all-wheel drive option.
It was all-wheel drive. Okay.
Well, most of them you see are front-wheel drive though.
Okay. Well, I've already committed then to the low and slow.
Okay,
the low
good.
and slow appearance. I'm not going to do with the G3 where I'll actually try and make it like a momentum car. It's like, no, bro. This is going to be. I'm just going to go kind of like. I'm going to channel my inner 17-year-old who got the hand-me-down Cross Tour from mom.
Nice.
And do like the 17-year-old mods where I'm going to like hack the springs and I'm gonna just cut the mufflers out and straight pipe it. Maybe underglow.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
definitely.
go full. I'm gonna go full, and it would be kind of cringy if I was the 17-year-old, but because I'm knocking on the door of 40, it'll be so uncool. It'll be cool.
Yeah, you're way more well received. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'll be having to like crab walk over speed bumps and stuff in my Cross Tour. Maybe I'll wrap it. Maybe I'll do the mirror tint on the windows. Just go full. Yeah, Monster Energy. Not Monster Energy sticker. I'm not going to go that far into the woods, but that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the low and slow Cross Tour.
Oh boy. Did that make it cool? I don't know.
I think I made it so uncool. It's come full circle to be cool.
That's how it does. It's like time travel. You go so fast, you go backwards, right?
How about this one? I got one. Are you familiar with the Sterling 825?
That's a weird one, man.
It's effectively, for those who don't know, it's basically a Rover body, like a British Leyland Rover 800
Correct.
series, that they poached the powertrain out of an Acura Legend, and then sold them in North America as either the Sterling 825, which was the 2.5 liter V6, or the 827, which is the 2.7, and that's how it's basically a rebadged, first gen Acura Legend.
Yep.
In a Rover body with British Leyland electronics, which is
Womp.
problematic.
Yeah.
How, my friend, are you want to take this? You're going to gussy this girl up and take her to Radwood. What's your way to get this done?
I mean, the best part about that car is the Legend engine. I'd love to swap it to like the Series 2 updated Legend engine
with the 6-speed.
Yes, sir. I think that I'd probably blow it on this car because I think that car would need it. Because was this offered? I don't remember. I don't think they were offered with a manual, were they?
I don't know, honestly. I know they were a sales swap.
Yeah, the Legends were offered. That engine was pretty good, but the later iteration was like super powerful, right? They went up to like 225 horsepower, I think, out of the.
I think so, 225, 230, something like that.
Was it called the Type 2? They said Type 2 on the actual.
Yeah, it was just like diabetes.
Yeah, so and it'll kill you quick.
Simplex A, yeah.
But
with the 6-speed, were the 6-speeds in the coupes and the sedans, or just the coupes? I think.
Could you get? Oh, I don't know.
The later second gen with a sedan, I don't know. But yeah, this is basically that motor and the 4-speed auto in the Sterling. There was a girl that drove one in high school when I was in high school, and it was like, what in the world is that thing?
Yeah, it wasn't. I thought that. And I think the first gen Legends are actually a pretty attractive car. So
right, absolutely, yeah, I'd love a coupe.
I'd say we embrace the weird. We keep the body the same as it is. This could definitely benefit from a lowering. Sure. Potentially, maybe a front lip would add a little bit of kind of give it a little aggressive. Wheels and tires are a big thing, but I think this is the one I gotta blow the transmission engine swap on. I think you pull in that 225 horsepower, more high revving, better power plant, a 6-speed manual hidden in that body would be kind of fucking cool.
That would be dope.
Because that thing could motor pretty good. I mean, that was.
I wonder if I'm sure, because Europe being very manual centric, that there's a manual version of this overseas as a Rover.
Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, maybe you could poach pedals and parts out of that for your swap.
You could. I guarantee the Legend stuff swaps right in though.
Yeah,
right?
Probably. Yeah.
So just that 6-speed plus we're talking about a really nice 5-speed manual. So I don't know. I think that's all you need, and like a little bit of aesthetic tweaking. And I think you got a pretty cool car. That would be a fun driver too.
Well, good news, my friend. My homie Rich Smith over at Car Donation let me know this morning. He sent me a text message. They're getting potentially, they haven't figured out what to do with it yet, but 190,000 mile example that hasn't been on the road since 2008. That was parked because of electrical issues.
Go figure.
And they don't know if they want to try and save it or just send it straight to the wrecker. So if you want it, my friend, we can dispatch the tow truck. I can get you a Sterling a Sterling 825, and you can make this dream a reality, sir.
I mean, I think that's a big operation, right? But
and if it's got 08 tags on it, who knows? If it's still in the DMV system, you're doomed. It's
correct.
Like $1,200 in back due reg right there.
Yeah, they're like, sir, it's not worth it. We're going to stop you right here.
So you can live those dreams, and you, sir, can come at me with another mental project here.
I think it gets there. I think that makes it cool. But all right, I'm throwing some hard stuff back at you for that, dude.
Oh no.
You're gonna have to do a late '90s, early 2000s Kia Rio.
Oh, Rio, not Rondo.
No,
I think the Rondo is the frumpier, weirder one. But I'll go Rio.
The Rio was like the soulless, total econobox. I think that was Hyundai's cheapest thing. It replaced the Accent. Like the original cheap Accent as their cheap car.
I think it was literally Kia's version of the Accent.
Right. Like the cheap Korean car. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe even worse than the Accent. I don't know.
Could be.
Boy, those are not good. Those were all I think a 1.5 liter, I think.
I think it was for
88 horsepower.
Sub 90 horsepower. Almost all. I don't know if you could get an auto or a manual. I think they all came in auto.
I think you could probably get those in a manual. Are you familiar with the Gambler 500?
Yes, you're not taking that on there.
Why not?
Dude, I had one of these as a rental car and I got stuck on a hill and it couldn't go over 60. It smelled like burning.
The thing is, the Gambler, it's like designed for shit cars to go beat up off road and like down like dusty trails and whatnot. And this car is basically a rolling dusty trail in and of itself. Like
it can't get out of the
interior is probably turning back into dust because all the plastic is falling apart from sitting in the sun. Even if it's the nicest example of, let's say, a '98 Kia Rio ever,
still has no value
in this world. And so beating it up on a trail and like getting it dents and dings and maybe rattle canning it, putting some gravel stage tires on it, and just tearing the bumper covers off, and just going full ham, I think is this car's destiny. I don't think there's any. The best thing you can do with it is make sure it falls on its sword and it dies an honorable death by running it down some motorcycle trails and gravel dirt embankments and don't leave it out in the trail. We don't want to pollute, but don't exactly bring it home in good shape either. I think that's what I'm doing. Is I'm gonna just $0 mod this thing to take it down to literally the only money I would spend on is tires and fluids, and then just go.
Okay.
Just absolutely kick the shit out of it.
Effectively ditching it in the woods.
Yeah, basically my modification is to take it out of this world.
To ruin it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's what you were thinking, but I don't know what else to do with that thing. Maybe I can rip the exhaust off.
Oh yeah, you gotta straight pipe that thing all day.
Yeah, just put it just go like straight up smokestack, like roll coal smokestack up the A pillar with the exhaust.
Cool. I guess that counts. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna finish the event, but it's what you showed up in.
Can I give you a shit box?
Please do.
Play with? I'm gonna let you modify my shit box. What would you do?
No.
How would you modify a 2004 Honda Civic Hybrid manual sedan?
Okay.
How do you make this thing sweet?
Out of all the hybrids, even though it has a manual, which is cool, decidedly cool, it's still an uncool car because that generation of Civic wasn't even popular at all.
Yeah.
Not to mention that hybrid isn't like the best hybrid car you could get at that time period.
Correct.
But, my friend, we're going to embrace hypermiling.
Ah, okay.
So I'm going full aero. Like that out.
Have you going to go like the teardrop, like have the fin like 7 feet off the back bumper?
Correct. Like the big pirate plank you can walk off the ship. This was actually popular with the Insights, the manual Insights. But you could actually full aero. You could do even more aerodynamic stuff with the wheels. You can get even more aerodynamic wheels, way more. You can have radiator block off plates. I would get rid of all the accessories I don't need.
Sure.
Weight reduction. I'd strip it down to one seat, back seats out, passenger seats out, no radio, no airbags. I'd yank everything out.
Cut sections out of the floor for weight reduction.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Little danger to manifold plate.
Exactly. Yep.
Empty everything, gut the trunk, and I'd get the weight down as low as I can. Super aero. I would get one of those little kind of like, what were they? The MPG or MP Guino things that computer readout so I could see exact fuel mileage. I would just basically turn into one of the greatest hypermiling cars as I could.
There you go.
That actually makes it kind of cool, right? Because it's still a manual. It's gonna.
Well, yeah, even if you're like, what the hell's wrong with your car? And you're just, you like imagine the Fast and the Furious Ferrari 355 scene, right? And instead of just like more miles than you can swallow, pal.
Yeah, right.
Hypermiler, and you're letting them know you're getting like 83 miles a gallon or whatever you're doing.
I do think you get there. I think you get in the 70s for sure, with aero and that weight reduction. But
the car, I know the Insight guys do some bunker stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but also like, dude, just chopping out that weight, it's going to make the car feel quicker, more responsive. I don't know. I think that's kind of how I make that a cool ass car.
I always thought that would be interesting until I decided strongly against it. Would be you can get a lot of just like standard Civic performance bits, right, for all the suspension and chassis, and just do all that and basically make it like the world's most like economical just like momentum, like twisty road car. But the problem is, it's like you run the hybrid battery flat, and then you have no power, and then when pushing it, and it's heavier, and the gearing is so economy based that like you have like 2,500 RPM swing from first gear to second gear to third. It's crazy. So, but I always thought there would be an interesting way to just like make it really handle very well.
Right.
And just have it like the ultimate like momentum fuel economy rig.
I like it.
Could be done with it, but I've decided not to do that because
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
I just think hypermiling is the way to go. I built that Civic VX back in the day I had.
Yep.
And it's really a fun thing, shutting the car off, coasting downhill with no power on.
Yep.
But I think that's a good candidate for it, man.
Sure.
You could go I'd go extreme. I think make it a cool car.
Could go extreme. So hey, I think we're getting close to the clock.
Let's do
somewhere,
it.
Right? Do you have anything, any last one to throw at me real quick? Or?
I was gonna throw horrible things at you, like the Toyota Solara second gen with the bubble butt convertible.
I was gonna say convertible. The hardtops aren't too bad. But...
No, convertible bubble butt, baby.
Well, I was gonna throw it to you, the 1999 Chevy Malibu Classic.
I hate that freaking car. I hate that.
Everyone hates that car. I think that won like Motor Trend Car of the Year or some domestic car of the year or one of those.
Unbelievably. Yeah.
And there's zero redeeming quality.
2 years later it was gone, right? They were all dead.
Yeah. And I could have gone H3T Hummer.
Well, I did put Smart 4.2 on mine. And Nissan Rogue first generation.
See, I didn't use my engine swap thing, but if I did, I'm Hayabusa swapping that Smart 4.2. I
knew you were going to do that.
You have to. That's the one to do. That's the one to do it on. Although I did see a yoked up one that they sold on Cars and Bids. That was like, I think it had like literally like 14 inches of lift. It looked like an ATV with like that stuffed underneath a Smart. It was pretty rad.
What's the rollover rating on something like that? That thing's got to just topple.
100%. It's just in a percentage of you're gonna roll, and that's what it is. It's
like the three-wheeler we ride, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
come at me. I'll introduce us.
Yeah, if you want to introduce us, I will pull up this here advertisement that I have.
It's time for our episode favorite automotive print ad quiz game show. We find automotive print ads, vehicles from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. These are advertisements for particular vehicles that ran in printed publications. So I'll get 3 guesses after Frank reads me the ad. He can help me out as best he can, or he can set me up to die on this hill.
We'll see.
Let's see. We have 10 minutes on the clock. I'll get the timer going.
Sweet.
After he finishes the ad, the timer starts. So Frank, go ahead and start that wonderful ad.
Okay. So this is a 2-page ad, and feel free to play at home if you would like.
Yes.
2-page spread. The bottom 2/3 is a profile shot of the car. It's silver in color. The wheels are motion blurred, so presumably this motor vehicle is at speed.
Motoring.
And then it says, just right above that, it says, if you could have any car in the world, what would it be? We thought so.
McLaren F1, final answer. Good game.
GG. And then it does indeed have some type copy, which I will read to you now.
Let's hear it.
As a driving enthusiast, you have literally hundreds of sports cars to choose from. But there is one automobile by which all others are measured. A remarkable car that has no shortcomings and therefore no peers. The blank. Here is a car painstakingly designed to have the best of everything. Power, handling, braking, and styling. An unprecedented machine that virtually every automotive magazine has named one of the 10 best in the world every year since it's been unveiled. Inspect it inch by inch, and you'll see what makes the blank the blank. The heart of this car is a 300 horsepower, 24-valve, twin-turbocharged, double overhead cam V6 engine with variable valve timing control system, twin intercoolers, and sequential multi-port fuel injection. Translation, it's very, very powerful. Equally as impressive is the way that it handles. 4-wheel steering, a viscous limited slip, four-wheel independent multi-link front and rear suspension, and an anti-lock braking system are just a it's missing a letter. I don't think it's supposed to say are just a small example of technology that I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say small.
Ooh, a typo.
It's a small sample of technology that prompted Motor Trend to call it, quote, the best handling car for the money anywhere. Inside, a wraparound instrument panel flows into the door panels and console to form an unsurpassed cockpit. As for styling, Automobile Magazine named it 1990s Design of the Year. And as for additional reassuring quotes from Automotive Press, just open any buff. You know what? I think this is just like really terrible quality because I think some of these are just like pixelated away some exact letters. Just open any buff book and you can start a library. I don't know what they're trying to say there.
Hey, I've got some buff books for you.
That's right. Exactly. Some jag rags. Now, take a few seconds and look at this picture and tell us again, what would your dream car be? Mm. And then it does have a really dramatically lit photo of the top of the engine. And it says, the blanks, Herculean engine can rocket from 0 to 60 in 5.0 seconds.
Wow.
Sir, the floor is yours. Do you know what we're talking about here?
300 horsepower. Did I hear that correctly? Twin turbo?
300 horsepower, twin turbo.
V6.
Double overhead cam V6.
1990. I heard 1990 in there.
Automobile Magazine named it 1990s Design of the Year.
Okay. I mean, geez. I feel like I am obligated to let the timer keep going, but I'm going to take a guess right at the beginning here. 1990, twin turbo, 300 horsepower. Mm-hmm. Are we talking about the car that's over my left shoulder? Perhaps.
What is that? What is that thing?
I think it's a 1990 300ZX twin turbo. Final answer, my friend.
A remarkable car that has no shortcomings and therefore no peers. The 300ZX Turbo.
Boom.
Yeah, you went hard on me last week, and then I figured I'd kind of I'd go a little easy on you. We can't have two back-to-back failures, and considering that you are in the process of wrenching on one of these directly behind you, if you are playing along at home and watching via the YouTube channel, that's what you're looking at back there. Is a 300ZX twin turbo, 1990 guys.
Yep. And it really let off because the VR4 3000 GT didn't come out till the next year. The Mark IV Super came out 93.
Yep.
So the 300
with the FDRX7.
Correct. Yeah. But the 300ZX was the first shot from like the Japanese automakers really chasing Corvette and getting there. Like the numbers were unbelievable. Shocking.
Yeah, because 1990, the Supra had 230 horsepower and was 300 or 400 pounds heavier than that car. You had nothing. Well, I mean, NSX was around the corner, right?
Yeah, that was coming out in 1990.
91, right?
Yep, 91. Well, here's the thing is that the 89 the 89 Auto Show they revealed the NSX.
Correct.
So the prototype was out there and people knew what the specs were kind of going to be.
Right.
But the 300ZX was still quicker 0 to 60. It was quicker than the Mark IV Super. It was quicker than the RX-7. And it was quicker than the Corvette. The Corvette had 225 horsepower, the base Corvette in 1990.
Right, exactly. Well, what if you had something else that was red in 1990, a different spec of Corvette?
Completely different class of vehicle. Yeah, maybe if it had a ZR and a 1 on it somewhere, that's probably going to be a quicker Corvette. But the base Corvette was, that's what Japan was aiming for, a sports car that could compete. And freaking Nissan of all people, I know, right?
Man, back when we'll have to save Nissan one day, you know?
Yeah, potentially. But also, like, keep in mind too that like the original Z car was a sports car. Then they got into more softer Grand Tourers. This was a return to sports car, right? This was not made. I mean, it's still kind of considered a Grand Tourer by today's standards, but this thing's a performance monster.
Correct.
You know,
completely. Still holds up.
Still holds up very well. Yeah. 300 horsepower out of a twin turbo V6. I mean, what the 335s and 135 BMW N55, N54 engines were like super like praised when they came out in what, 2008?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, something like that. 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it came out with an inline six with 2 turbos and 300 horsepower, and everybody's like, "Woo!" And I'm like, "Well, we could go back, 15 years."
Well, you know what? I think that maybe that's the segue. Is have you been making progress on that thing? Should we just go right into some
PCP? We can definitely do a little project car progress if you'd like.
Okay. And we're gonna get it done in less than 4 minutes, we think, or we want to?
Let's do it. Yeah, this will be a short one. This will be a short sode. Okay. But real quick, dude, the 300ZX, the cooling system's full of like brown, old ass coolant. And it kind of feels like I'm working on a muscle car, because that's a muscle car thing. When you find a car in a field, that cooling system usually has a lot of deposits in it. So I've done a bunch of flushes, and every time I flush it, and I'm doing like a double, like super strength flush right now, tons of sediment coming out. So if you're ever worried, like if you've ever seen a blown head gasket, you get that kind of mix, because coolant and water, coolant and oil do not mix, right? Nope. You can get it to be kind of mushy and weird, but it'll always settle out over time. Yeah. If it's consistently brown, that's usually rust or other deposits. They could have used the wrong coolant. They could have used regular tap water. Yeah. Let it sit with tap water too long. But if you're getting deposits, like physical, like rust flakes, that's an indicator that you are dealing with a dirty cooling system. Now, if I wanted to do full flip, if this was like a 10,000 mile car, I would pull the radiator, get a new one. I would do the full cooling system. I'd replace all the hoses anyway, thermostat, all the other cooling system stuff. But on this one, I'm just going to keep flushing it. Dude, I've done like a million flushes and it's still coming out like coffee brown.
Have you tried, what are those, like the urinal cakes, like the 2,000 flushes that you put in the back of your toilet? Just pop one of those bad boys in there.
I'm pretty sure that would get stuck at the thermostat, but I don't see why not. I mean,
we can plug a thermostat. That's
maybe fine. It fills like radiator holes and cracks too, so it might be a great breakthrough product. Who knows? But that's what I've been doing, and it's a pain in the butt. You know how it is. You got to let the car idle 15, 20 minutes, let it cool, drain, do it again, because you don't, and you're just using distilled water over and over. I've gone through like, I don't know, 10 gallons at this point. So I'm also doing. Yeah, I'm also doing the power steering pump on that one, because I mentioned that in the last episode. I'm doing it on the Bonneville. Why not? So the power steering pump is, power steering pumps kind of whine, but when they start to go bad internally, they can make like a horrible, like a rubbing noise, like a rah, which sounds kind of like cams and lifters touching, which is scary when you hear a car run like that. But I have I use a screwdriver with a half a plastic jug. And you can put it on all your pulleys to hear what pulleys making noise. And when I put it on the pump, not even on the pulley, on the pump itself, and it's like incredibly clear. But to let that, sure, it's fine to drive like that until it isn't, right? When that freezes and tears your belt up and messes up who knows what else. Yep. So replacing that, easy car to work on though, so it shouldn't be hard.
Totally the easiest car to work on.
All right, I'm gonna kick it back to you, man. How's PCP looking for you? I might have brought another stray, not home yet, but there's an offer in principle because we discussed last time that the turbocharger on the 924 has gone sideways, and while I haven't quite figured that out yet, I have brought home another 924. So you have two NA
thanks,
ones,
guys. That's all. That's all we got time for.
Now you have two naturally aspirated 924s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one against its will, and one is properly naturally aspirated. So again, it hasn't gotten home yet. I just have the paperwork. I'm hashing that out right now. But that'll be a tale for another day. So that's literally kind of it. I don't have anything else other than to thank y'all for listening and watching and doing all the things.
Yep. Quick episode this time. Follow us, APA Podcast, another Pointless Automotive podcast. Follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Review the episodes. We're on YouTube too. Please check them out.
That's
Frank,
it.
Where can they find you?
I'm at the Photographer's Garage on Instagram and YouTube. And how about you, homie?
Auto Obsessive Garage. Check us out.
That's it.
As always, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for putting up with us.
Peace.